The dust has settled on the F1 2025 Australian Grand Prix, and we are back here on Fog Racing with our driver ratings. Welcome back to the channel. We took Monday off. What a Grand Prix it was. I mean, it wasn't a classic by any means in terms of, that's going to be remembered for years, but in terms of a season opener, I think you'll struggle to find a better one. So we're going to start from we're going to start from the bottom. We'll do it by team, and we'll start with Haas. All right, Haas, Ollie Byrne, right? Horrific Friday and Saturday, but you know what? He finished the race. May have been last of the runners, but I think you've got to get some form of credit for finishing that race. I think Haas dropped the ball with both drivers. Should have just kept them out on the inters, and they didn't for whatever reason. Would it have backfired? Probably. I don't think the rain came quick enough. But at the same time, why not take the risk? You know what I mean? Like, why not take the risk? Anyway, Ollie Behrman, I'm going to give him a 2 out of 10. Friday and Saturday was horrific, but again, this rating could be so much higher if Haas just risked it and he got points. Esteban Ocon, P13, I'm going to give Ocon a 5 because he didn't really make any mistakes, but the Haas looks like the slowest car in the grid, and yeah, not good for them, but that's just the way it looks, my friends. Right, up next we've got Sauber, we've got Gabriel Portoletto, who, for whatever reason, it looks like his suspension broke. I'm going to give Bortoletto, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10, right? He got into Q2 in a car that probably doesn't really belong in Q2, if we're being honest. And then he drove a pretty good race till his suspension broke, and then he hit the wall. So that crash isn't even his fault. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. I thought he was pretty good for a rookie. But a lot of people are not really even registering that. Nico Hulkenberg, he got P7. It was a poor qualifying, but here, Sunday's where you get the points. I'll give Nico Hulkenberg, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. It's not quite like a 9 or a 10, because I do think he was quite poor on Saturday. And as much as finishing like P7 is great, it is kind of, it's not luck, but it's not exactly, fantastic at the same time. Is it up next? We've got who are we going to go? RB Isaac Hadjar. A really good qualifying P11, but then crashed on the formation lap. It's a 3 out of 10 for me because I think there is something with this kid, but can't really do much. Yuki Tsunoda P12. I'm actually going to give Tsunoda. RB fucked him. I'm going to give Shinoda an 8 out of 10, man. Fantastic quality, fantastic racing, and I don't know what it is when it rains. RB just decide to do these like ridiculous strategies, which I don't understand for the life of me. Right, up next, we've got Alpine. Jack Doohan, decent qualifying until Hamilton interrupted his lap with a spin, and then he crashed out on lap one. Going to give him the same rating as Hadjar, 3 out of 10. Pierre Gasly, P11. I'm going to give Gasly a 5 out of 10 because it was looking pretty good, and then he made that mistake which allowed both Ferraris and Piastri past him. So, far from ideal was that. Right, up next we've got Aston Martin, Lance Stroll. Can't even remember where he qualified. Was it 13th he qualified? 13th, but finished P6. I'll give him a P8. Not a P8. I'll give him an 8 out of 10, right? Like, he looked into it, but you've got to be in there to win it. You know what I mean? He wasn't there consistently. Like, I think he averaged like 7 tenths a lap slower than Alonso or something. I've seen like race data, which is brutal, but here, he kept it on the track, unlike Alonso, so I gave him an 8 out of 10. Fernando Alonso, he was P11. Then he got into the points. He was in the points pretty much the whole race till he crashed. I mean, whether you think it was the gravel that Gasly flicked up or not, it might not have been his fault, but I'm still going to score him down for the crash. I'll give him a 3 out of 10, just like I did Doohan and Hadjar. But Alonso's more experienced, so it might not have been his fault, but we'll give him it anyway. Right, up next, who have we got? Williams, Carlos Sainz, qualified 10th and crashed out. It looks like it was kind of similar to Alonso, where it might not have been all the driver's fault, but I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10 because this is just a missed opportunity for Williams. You know what I mean? I think they'll be really quick throughout the season, but they'll be raging at this race. 3 out of 10. Up next we got Alexander Albon. I mean, he got P4, then they got rid of Antonelli's penalty, so it is a P5. I'll give Albon a 9 out of 10. He was up there the whole race. He was literally in the podium positions. I mean, this race was crazy. I mean, there was everyone was kind of in the podium positions at one point. But I'll give him a 9. 9 out of 10. Right, into the top four teams. We'll start with Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli, really poor qualifying, but he did manage to finish P4 in the end. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 because you know what? There's a situation where he qualifies like fifth and probably might finish lower. Just depends. So I'll give him an 8. George Russell qualified. Where did Russell qualify? Fourth. Qualified fourth, finished third. I don't know. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I know it's the same rating as Antonelli, but I expect a bit more from Mercedes. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hype about them in pre-season, and you know most people are putting them above Red Bull, and there was only one guy taking it to fucking McLaren. It was a Red Bull, so I'll give him an 8. Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton qualified 8th, finished 10th. Another guy that was pretty unlucky with the strategy, but you know what? We can say unlucky with the strategy, right? Especially someone like Hamilton and someone like Leclerc who's been fucked by Ferrari's strategy countless times. They should be saying, like, no, we're actually going to box here. You know what I mean? And I think Shinoda's the same as well. It's like, it can't all be down to the team. Like, James Flowers was talking about Sainz advising them to pit because he's like, that's too wet for dries. And, you know, like Leclerc's saying before the rain hits, class 3, that'll be too wet for us. So why not pit? You know what I mean? Should have pit it. But they didn't. And I think the saving grace for Ferrari is, even if they did pit, I think they would have finished 6th and 7th. So it's not like Ferrari, right, threw away like a 1-2 by what they did. They risked it and were 1-2 at one point. You know, Norris overtook both Ferraris on the inters when they were on the dries, but they risked it. I think it was a fair enough risk. I think too much is being made out of this. I mean, would you rather risk it and try and get like a double podium / a 1-2 instead of just playing it safe for 6th and 7th? Or, you know, they might have got Albon, right? And to be honest, I don't like Antonelli got 4th, right? Maybe they were with the race is that chaotic. I can't even recall. I mean, I know Antonelli was behind him, but he must have. I don't know. It was kind of. I can't remember when Antonelli got past him. It must have been in the pit stops. Right, up next we've got Red Bull, Liam Lawson. I mean, his race wasn't bad, and he crashed out because it was wet and he was on slicks. I mean, that can happen to anybody. But the qualifying's fucking shocking, man. I'm giving him a 2 out of 10. He's in a Red Bull. Look at his teammates doing. You know what I mean? Give him the benefit of doubt for now, but if he does this halfway through the season, it's probably a fucking 0. Max Verstappen, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. There was a few mistakes in there for Max. Like he let Piastri through, and if he pitted a few laps earlier, or hell, if he pitted the lap the McLarens went off, if Red Bull do a quicker stop than McLaren, he might beat them out. I think I'm not saying Red Bull threw a win away because McLaren did have obviously the faster car, but it could be a missed opportunity. So I'll give him a 9. Into McLaren, Oscar Piastri, P9. He did make the mistake, but I think it was pretty. I'm going to give Piastri an 8. I don't think I can give him much higher than that. It is a mistake from him, but the McLarens were the first 2 cars to hit that track, to hit that corner. It's very reminiscent of Malaysia 2001. Don't know if you recall when both Ferraris went off at the same corner. And like obviously because they're first on the scene, like if Max is P1 and he's first on the scene, he probably goes off. But the fact that he sees 2 McLarens ahead of him goes off just makes him take the corner a lot more cautious. And you know what? You could argue, well, why is Piastri taking it quicker than Norris if he's seen him fly off? You could argue that, but you know it swings and roundabouts. If McLaren don't whip out the team orders, maybe Piastri beats Norris. You know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, I'll give him an 8. And then Lando Norris, I think it's got to be a 10, doesn't it? Apart from that wee minor off, which he caught and he saved, didn't really put a foot wrong. I mean, fastest for every qualifying session, fastest in quality, the main one that matters. Got pole, led the race. Didn't panic when he put on the inters and there was people out on dries, and it could have been like, oh fuck, have I fucked up again? Russia 21, but it's a 10 out of 10 for Norris. Even if he does have the fastest car, right? We don't really know. It's that early in the season. We don't know who's got what. So we'll have to see a few races, but it does look like McLaren have got the fastest car. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. That's driver ratings. China preview coming soon, and peace.